Greetings. So this is a quick business idea, okay? Um, it's based on people my age, Gen Xers, basically, coming into our own right now. We're underneath that boomer. If the boomers don't completely destroy the whole planet, they're pretty much intent. They're so narcissistic, so focused on themselves. The boomers pretty much are gonna. It's all gonna be over. But if somehow we survive, the boomers finally let go, finally step out of Congress, finally step out of the rapey torture prisons that they now are running and all this kind of stuff. If the boomers finally kind of step aside and let a new generation step forward, of course, it won't be the Gen Xers because everyone hates them. Us. Because they can, some of them conflate us with the boomers, and then of course the boomers were always really jealous of. Want to keep us down, because we can't. They got to hold on to what they got forever, what their parents gave them. So their parents were awesome people. They fought wars and went through depressions and struggled and worked real hard to make them feel super special. And then they just can't not feel special. They just can't get out of it. Whatever they do, it's all about them. We're talking Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, Trump. That's them. Bibi Netanyahu. Basically, those are all boomers that are going to kill us, basically. Okay, but Gen X, my business idea? All right. We all have a memory of a time, and we're not going to find a lot of people who are going to really jump right on this because who cares about, fast food, right? But we all remember, I remember Gen Xers, there was a Taco Bell in Laguna Beach. And it was one of the only Taco Bells I'd ever seen. It was a new Taco Bell. I went there and I got this thing called the Taco Bell Grande. Taco Bell Grande. All right. And this Taco Bell Grande had real meat. It had real, kind of the American style meat, flavored taco hamburger meat, right? But good stuff, real meat. Real sour cream. That's right, on the Taco Bell Grande, you got sour cream. Real lettuce, real tomatoes, nothing genetically modified. All that stuff was real food back then. Okay? Maybe a little bit of cheddar, Jack blend on there. Yeah, Taco Bell Grande and black olives. Who remembers, right? If you went to Taco Bell, some of you are going to have some black olives on it. Really good. Just really neat. Good, fresh food. If you got a Taco Bell Grande today and had that next to the real food that they serve at Taco Bell now, the Taco Bell Grande would be, or it would be considered organic. It would be considered health item. It would like premium food, expensive, right? It would be like what you go to a sit down to get specialty, But yet I remember it and I want it. I want the Taco Bell Grande of the past. Carl's Jr. Here comes Carl's Jr. 1980s, man. It kicked in. Carl's Jr. 1980s. We had one in the mall near me. Okay. They said flame grilled burgers. Carl's Jr. Flame grilled burgers. Real meat. And they were real meat. Okay. Real meat. Not some weird genetically modified plastic new vegetable thing they're trying to foist on all the idiots now. This was real meat. This was good food. And it was flame grilled. They had some kind of ventilation system that they could pump that flame grill smell out. You walk in, you walk near the Carl's Jr., you smelled the flame grilled. When you went in, you smelled the flame grill. You could look back at the back of the restaurant. You could see the flames and the flame grilling the burgers, real burgers being cooked on a real flame grill. The Carl's famous star. Oh my God. Such a good burger, such a good product for a fast food type thing. The superstar, you get two patties, okay? Also, back then, you didn't need to have tons of gimmicks and stuff to sell the repackaged plastic crap that they're selling you now as food. So you didn't need California guacamole, bacon double, Texas burger, pineapple burger sauce. But they did some of that. There was some of that back then, of course. But not to the extent that it is now. It seems like they don't even bother mentioning the burger now, the famous star, and they're just like, get the new double, triple burger thing, Carl's Jr. No part of it's real. Okay, but anyway, so it's shit though. But in my mind, I still remember the famous star, the Carl's Jr. famous star. Okay, Wendy's, fast food. I've been poor here in America for a long time, so I have had some fast food. Okay, I know what the different ones had. Okay, Arby's had this Arby's sauce, horsey sauce, horseradish flavored stuff, and curly fries. First place you get that kind of crap, Arby's. Really cool. That was their kind of little gimmick by the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. But what was I getting back to? Carl's Jr., Wendy's. So Wendy's was fresh and good. Man, square pattied burgers that went over the bun. More real meat. Just what you want is that meat anyway, right? You don't want the crappy grain. That's what they feed the animals. But anyway, that's cool. You get the burger, really nice. Wendy's, I forget what their burger was called, but it was good. Nice. Again, fresh ingredients, fresh stuff. Wendy's had a secret 99-cent menu. They always had. And as a person who was super poor for many years at that time, that 99-cent menu, on that 99-cent menu, you could get a potato, okay? A baked potato, whole baked potato for 99 cents. And you could get I think it was 5 chicken tendies for 99 cents or something like that. It was incredible. 99 cents, a lot of times I'd walk in there with $1.97 or, $1.98 or $2.97 in my pocket. I gathered up all my pennies, gathered up everything, went down there and put together $2.97. And then I could get 3. I could get a little cup of chili, cup of chili, 99 cents. Potato, 99 cents. Chicken nuggies, 99 cents. That's $3. Okay. And the food quality at the time, the chicken nuggies were actual chicken. Crazy. Amazing. How did they do that? I don't know. The potato was basically just a potato. No gimmick, no weird thing, no flavor added, no nothing. Just a freaking potato that you want. So good. So my business idea, my proposal now is to create I don't know what we're going to call it, a retro 80s food bonanza, or, remember your burger, or, burgers the way they used to be, or authentic, real food. And then we're not gonna get to use their trade names, obviously. Somehow we can kind of suggest, we could be like, do you remember the famous star by this restaurant that rhymes with Arles? I don't know how we could do it, but we're kind of let it be known that that's the famous star, and actually make the freaking famous star of 1985. Make a Carl's Jr. 1985 famous star burger. Have that on the menu. Have a 1979, 1980, Taco Bell Grande, Burrito Supreme. The Burrito Supreme also had sour cream and olives and real ingredients. Nothing but real ingredients. Anyway, make these foods the way that you remember them from your beautiful childhood when fast food was actually good. And make a killing. Put it next to an In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger has remained the same. In-N-Out Burger has done what I'm talking about. Because they introduced a good product and they never changed it. They just stayed with the good product. In-N-Out Burgers are the way I remember them from my youth, When one first went up at my community college that I was going to, Saddleback Valley Community College, I don't know, one popped up down there off the 405, off the 5. what was it? I don't know. It was like Avery Parkway or something like that. There was a freaking In-N-Out burger, man. They had stickers they handed out, In-N-Out burger. Everybody cut the B and the R off the burger and had that In-N-Out urge on their car. And the food was really good. So basically, kind of go for an In-N-Out model, good quality fast food, high volume, drive through, dine in, all that. And also, this restaurant, we're not gonna when the pandemic, the new one comes around, they're like bird flu, everybody crap, you could start crapping yourself and lock yourself down. We're gonna test and we're gonna figure out, we're gonna be like, you know what, the bird flu, it's not even really that transmissible to humans, so it's got a way less than 1% death rate. We're gonna keep our restaurant open, gosh darn it. Screw you, Dr. Fauci. This restaurant stays open. This restaurant stays happy and healthy. And we're keeping people healthy in here. People are getting out, get some air, get some sun, get some healthy food, some vitamin D. Our customers are going to be living, while all your customers are going to be getting triple boosted and dying of toxic mercury products given to them by Nazi Satanists, calling themselves biopharmaceutical grant recipients. EcoHealth Alliance, Peter Daszak. You're going to be dying of Peter Daszak products. Our people are going to be eating healthy, real meat and therefore getting omega essential fatty acids and getting real nutrients that are giving them an immune system. So our customers, the customers of the retro 80s, awesome. I think that might be it. R8A, retro 80s, awesome. Anyway, this restaurant that serves real food, it's going to be creating a pandemic of health, a pandemic of greater consciousness, a pandemic of reconnection. When you smell that Carl's Famous Star and you reconnect, your brain's going to remember a time when we had journalism and people were educated. Not everybody around you was a triggered, duped idiot. Most of the people around you actually had a little bit of scrutiny at that time, and they were a little bit informed. They had seen some things. They knew that Nixon was a crook, and they knew that we could govern correctly. Things could happen using the democratic process. They knew the Constitution mattered. They knew we had some rights and stuff like that. When the CIA brought cocaine into your cities, that's a bad thing. CIA bad. See, that was a consciousness back then. When the FBI kills Judy Berry or, kills, not Judy Berry, that was before that. When the FBI starts going out to the neighborhood and killing black people or getting them hooked on drugs or whatever, we realized back then, FBI bad, FBI not our friend. Of course, all the dupetards here now, Comey's awesome. I love Comey, because they're all orange doopy. They're got the Trump derangement syndrome. They're whacked out of their minds. But anyway, people around you at that time. So when you smell the Carl's Famous Star, you're smelling an intelligent working class with rights. A working class that still has rights, still has upward mobility, still can work itself out of poverty just by working hard, still has not been completely manipulated and had things taken over by a monopoly. We all read Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. We didn't read the whole thing, but we knew about Upton Sinclair's The Jungle and what industry is capable of when it becomes a monopoly. Now we love monopolies. Bill Gates is just awesome. All my Bay Area people, they just love Bill Gates. So they love monopolies. They love it when somebody takes something like word processing and just having a computer operating system in your office. They love it when somebody takes that and then monopolizes that, makes $1 gazillion and controls what you see and hear now that they control all of this. And through their philanthropy, they're also controlling where the good money is going in science, which to Bill Gates, it's eugenics. It's vaccinating African women so that they're sterile, right? No one remembers that. But the libtards love it now. They love it. They just, vaccines. Jeffrey, going to be anti-vax. Just get the vaccine and get sterilized. Let the white man sterilize you. What's wrong with you? Anyway, they can't remember. They don't know. Back in the day when Carl's Jr. had to compete for your burger money, even the Big Mac, I'm going to go there. Burger King was even different. My gosh. Getting a Burger King burger, it was just incredibly, it was so different back in that time. So using competition, right? Not allowing things to monopolize, not allowing things to put false messages in the media, not allowing things to own the media and own the monopoly. See, by having smaller, more regulated, better capitalism, I like that capitalism. I love that capitalism. I really do. Mixed economy capitalism. You got some socialism, because that's how you build the roads. That's how you build the bridges. And then you don't charge people extra taxes for traveling. That encourages tourism. That encourages more industry. All those social programs that my grandparents totally were just super afraid of because they hated the idea of FDR and socialism and stuff like that. But they didn't really, they knew kind of in some part of them, we all knew that socialism back then, building Interstate 40, building Interstate 5, building, these interstates, highways, and all this stuff, and then just doing it for free, just kind of like, boom, paying people a living wage. It's boosting the economy, stimulating, getting things, got us out of the Depression, basically. It wasn't always just the war. It wasn't just the war. It was also the CCC. So anyway, you got some socialism, you got some mixed economy. I don't care, whatever, right? Capitalism. The main thing is you're letting people explore their vision, do their greatness, be awesome. Just let me be awesome. They're letting you be awesome. They're not controlling you. And they're not trying to take what you have and give too much of it to everyone else. You're going to pay a tax. You're going to contribute to the community. That's great. See, this all comes out of better fast food. The better quality fast food led to clearer thinking back then in the plebes and the working class people. I don't think that they would have been tricked into taking an mRNA vaccine if they were a healthy 20-year-old person back then, knowing that the mRNA vaccine is still experimental and potentially deadly, more deadly than the virus, right? So they could do that calculation in their mind and say, okay, seems like somebody wants me to be super freaked out about this virus, but I kind of, after looking at it, I'm saying, yeah, it's dangerous to older people and people with problems and immune compromise. It's not really a problem for me. So I'm going to avoid that vaccine and I'm going to go get a Carl's Famous Star. Well, now imagine a person with like purple hair. They've already had their genitals hacked. They don't even know what like normal human sexuality is. They're probably never going to mate themselves. And they're eating crap, plastic crap that's vegan. Sugar is vegan. Glyphosate is vegan. These things are all vegan. So they're eating a lot of glyphosate and carbohydrates, and they're not getting enough essential fatty acids, enough omega-3 for their brain to function properly, right? So that's how they're able to be so manipulated. So that's part of the manipulation. That's part of why you think giving all your money to oligarchs through a fake defense industry in Ukraine is a good idea, because you're an idiot, because your food is so bad. That's part of what's happening to people's minds. That's part of why they're so compromised. And there's so much support for Ukraine, for example, when everyone in America in the past would have been able to, oh my God, somehow the deep state really wants a war, a hot war with Russia. That's stupid. That's the last thing we as an American worker, I don't need a hot war with Russia. I don't need to keep provoking Russia. I don't keep needing to militarily drain Russia. Let's make some deals with Russia over pipelines or something. Let's do something over their natural gas. Let's work with Russia. Let's don't make them the enemy. But no, the deep state here, Victoria Nuland, Hillary Clinton, all those people, Obama, John Brennan, all the real people that really run things, they just were so into this. They gotta have a war with Russia somehow, some way, And also, we've got corrupt friends in Ukraine that'll just give the money right back to us. So let's just give a bunch of the American taxpayer to oligarchs in Ukraine. You know what I mean? Somehow the people went for that. A lot of Democrats went for that. Over on the right-hand side, the Republican side of things, you've got people convinced that they don't even really know anything about the real demographics of the Middle East, Egypt, Jordan, Palestine. They don't know anything about the actual demographics, who those people are, the groups of people there. In their mind, they're all hostile Arabic people that just hate Israel. That's in their mind. That's what they see. They don't remember those were regime change, right? Egypt was an early regime change operation between the United States and the United Kingdom. Iran, regime change of the United States. You don't like these people? You have only yourself to blame, right? When you reinstalled the Shah, when you pull the corrupt Shah out of to install a guy like him into power in Iran, it's only inevitable. There's going to be a far right, maybe religious Shia uprising. Maybe that's what you wanted. Maybe that's where, because that's also chaotic and weird, and you can just keep using that forever to scare the Americans with and get money from them for war that they don't need with Persians. They don't need to fight the Persians. We don't need to fight the Persians. We don't need to fight the Ottomans. But well, they're all being triggered. It's all being weird. Nobody knows anything. So, and this has to do again with the quality of the food. Yeah. So, fast food. Back in the day, people ate real food. It was neat. Even when they went to fast food, they were getting real food. I remember it. We can reinvent that. And we can reinvent quality, nice thinking. The first thing to think of is just that deciding to drone bomb a civilian or deciding to open up a torture prison or something like that. This is a thing that we're going to maybe most of the time decide no. The default setting, right now, the default setting is yes. Oh my God, torture prison? Please, more. Can we torture more Palestinians? Yeah, oh my God, that's awesome. Maybe we can let some of the IDF soldiers film it and send it out so it's kind of a torture operation on all of our minds when we see the IDF soldiers raping Palestinian men on camera. That's awesome. When we let the IDF mess up and the October 7 brutal imagery happens, the brutal things that we hear happen, which didn't really happen. Some of them did, some of them didn't. All allowed to happen by the IDF, the Mossad, on purpose so they could begin their genocide, in Gaza. Again, people in another former generation would have maybe pushed for a two-state solution. They wouldn't have had really in control. They wouldn't know what's going on. They wouldn't have been able to acknowledge who the Zionists are and what they're really all about, what the real Zionist project is. It's always been the Greater Israel Project. It's always been to take Lebanon, North Egypt, Jordan. It's been a great. They are the. When people were afraid of Hitler, oh my God, if we let Hitler have Poland, he's just going to keep going, right? But we let Netanyahu do a genocide on the Gazans, and then he really wants to keep going. That's like his appetite's just so wet for more genocide and more killing of brown-skinned people. So these largely European, fake Ashkenazi Jews say, oh, we got to spread out all over diaspora. We had to go all over the world because people hated us so much. Those Arabs down there hated us. Again, Saudi Arabia was not a factor for the real Israelites. And this word, I heard a guy the other day using the word Israelites and Israel in the same, like they're the same. They're not. The Israelites are an ancient people who are actually Semitic. Those people are actually real people. People that are forming Israel now are all different ethnic heritage. They might call themselves Jews. Conveniently, they're just Jews now. That's great. Some of them are Jewish, but they don't have any real connection to like David, you know what I mean? the Solomon's temple, the people, the Israelites and the Judeans that did great stuff like that. They're not them. They're a different ethnic group of people, and that's why we see they're so easy to trick into getting really into rape and murder and torture that they're super into now. Again, all because the quality of Carl's famous star went so down. The quality of your thinking also went down, and you're easy to manipulate. Tying that back in. All right, so how's that idea for a good restaurant that serves like real quality fast food, trying to specifically imitate the real fast food you ate in the 80s? With like a Burger King burger, a famous Star burger, a Taco Bell Grand Taco, a Taco Burrito Supreme. A Burrito Supreme from Taco Bell. But like the real Burrito Supreme, the way you remembered it. God, it would be awesome. Let's work for that. Let's fight for that. Because you know what? It might make Taco Bell, the chain that took over, whatever that is, Pepsi, I guess. It's Pepsi, Marriott Corporation, who knows? Some giant conglomerate ate Taco Bell. And you can only get Baja Blast at Taco Bell from Mountain Dew. So I'm thinking it's Pepsi. But anyway, it might make them act better. It might make them produce better food. That'd be kind of cool. Let's also again push for an ingredient list. This idea that came out of the jungle, Upton Sinclair. Anything that goes in my body, I see the ingredient list. That's all. It's very simple. Nothing goes in my body that I don't see the ingredient list. So if you're pushing a vaccine, fine, that's great. Release that ingredient list. I'm going to look at that ingredient list, and I need to know amounts. How much mercury is in there, right? What kind of lipid nanoparticles are in there? What's being delivered where by the lipid nanoparticles? Lipid nanoparticles break barriers within you and deliver crap everywhere. So what is inducing things later after the vaccine's over, like spike proteins or something like that? I need to know more about it, right? I'm good to take it, just like I'm good to eat a Carl's Famous Star. I'm good. I'm ready to take the Fauci crappy vaccine. I just need to know more about it, right? If I'm going to eat a Famous Star, I want to know the ingredients. If I'm going to take a vaccine, I want to know the ingredients. So let's go back to that. More information, more clarity, more regulation, more information, and full ingredient list. Anything that goes in your body, they want you to take in your body, you get to see the ingredient list. Okay? And now if there's proprietary information in there, there's a way that they can still tell you about the mercury that's in the vaccine and somehow protect the formulation. They could make certain things, they could list them in a certain way that it kind of protects their formula. But actually, I don't really care about that. The main thing is disclosure is more important than protecting their patent, right? Health over patents. Integrity over patents. Right now, patents is everything. Corporations and their patents, that rules the policy. That rules everything. There's no other consideration. That's why they suppressed ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, because those are not in a current patent. That's not a patented thing that they're currently somebody's going to get a new patent on. So they hate that. But it's health over patents. If we find out that ivermectin is actually really effective and could heal a lot of people, even though it's not making anybody a gazillion dollars, that's not the criteria anymore like it is today. That is a criteria right now. Control, social control, and profit. But in our world, our model, the idea is better health and more information and better compliance through also providing better products. Don't let the manufacturers that make things not be held accountable for them. So what they did to the American mind was, everybody has to take this vaccine, but the manufacturer is not liable for what happens. So when they did that, that's cognitive dissonance, or it's making you into a cuck. It's making you into a person right away who formally has agency, says, I can analyze what's coming into my body and pick what I know, and this company has some liability. I can deal with them later if there's a problem. Getting rid of all that and just disempowering you, turning you into a disempowered just vessel that will just take whatever they want to needle rape you with. Whatever the current needle rape is, they just hit you with that. If it's your baby, they want to hit them with 72 vaccines all at once, whatever, they just do it, right? I don't think they do them all at once. They have a schedule. But by the time you're done, you've had about 72 vaccines now. So that's just crazy. That's like Carl's Jr. crap. It's basically the Carl's Jr. food chain pushed on the whole world as medicine. These ideas, the vaccines the way they are now. So let's improve the quality of the food, improve our thinking, improve our education, and then improve our health outcomes. We'd have better health outcomes. We wouldn't have so much cancer and diabetes and everybody on Ozempic and all these weird drugs they don't need. People don't need Lipitor. No one would be on Lipitor. They'd be on healthy food. Healthy avocado salad. No Lipitor, right? Avocado salad, yes. Lipitor, no. Carl's Famous Star, good, yes. Local, maybe local ownership of the restaurant. Maybe that's the key. But they get to use the formula from whatever. I don't know. It's got to be some key, because the food right now, it's total crap. I'm telling you, it's shit. What's happening to people's minds when they're in these places eating these foods? The type of just lights and programming and sounds and repetition, what's happening, and they're all being turned into idiots. We can change that. But that's where a lot of America is right now. Everyone that you know, if they're out driving, coming home from grandma's for the holidays, they're right now pulled off of a freeway. They're inside a frickin' Starbucks, or they're inside a Taco Bell right now. eating that crap, being subjected to repetitious, horrible music that's ruining their minds. We can do so much better. Let's go back. Remember what was good and fight for it again.